There are literally dozens, if not hundreds, of spot play angles that have been developed over the years that make consistent money at the track year after year after year. Now, these methods are all spot plays, what we call spot plays. In other words, they don't get a whole lot of action. Horses have to meet some pretty darn strict rules to qualify. But in the case with just about all of these spot plays, you're talking about horses that win at 40% or more of the time and show a long run ROI. And most of these methods, actually, a lot of them came from the 40s, 50s, and 60s when handicappers basically had to fly by their pants and had to just develop angles from observing, no computers or anything to help them out. This particular method called the angle, and we call it angle of the month, make my day, the 40% system, gets 40% plus winners at most tracks. The larger tracks, it'll average 38 to 42%. At some of the smaller tracks, tracks like Parks, Delaware, Penn, Mahoning Valley, Golden Gate, Tampa Bay, what we would consider B and C level tracks, the win rate is 45% up. Again, you're not going to get a lot of action. As the author wrote, the method outlined here will not supply enough action to suit the player who desires to wager every day on every race, but for those willing to wait for the spots, it offers a simplified plan of action. So basically, yeah, you can go out to the track like most people do, want to have fun, want to play every race. But if you got to have a method or two like this in your pocket, you just look for these horses, and when they come up, you play them. You play them. Usually, the best strategy we found is play them to win and to place with twice as much on the place. But again, this method, as effective as it is, only has two rules. The first rule is that the horse must finish second by 5 lengths or more over the third horse in his most recent race and must have been beaten by no more than 1 length. So basically, the horse we're talking about here finished second, was beaten a length or less, and the distance between him and the third horse was 5 lengths or more. So there's some big separation there between the second and third horse. And the second rule, as the horse to qualify must have run within 30 days. It must run within 30 days of the qualifying race. So if this race was on October 1st, then he's got to run at least by November 1st. And he must run on the same track or same circuit. And we would also add the same or about the same distance. So again, you're just talking about 2 rules here. But these horses, again, have a very, very high percentage of win and place. So we probably averaged about, I'm just thinking at particular track, probably 6 to 8 tracks per month, and that 6 to 8 races per month per track. So again, you don't get a lot of plays, but again, remember, keep this in mind because it's something that will make you money over the long run. And the next one we're going to talk about is the positive horse. This was one originally developed, again, back in the 60s by Ron Cox. Ron Cox, one of the greatest handicappers of all time. I think he passed away in the late 90s. He actually had a great selection service that we subscribed to for years. It was really sad to see him pass, not just because he's a great handicapper, but because all of a sudden we didn't have our Northern California picks anymore. But again, this is a super, super high percentage methodology. Again, you don't get a lot of plays, but the rules are very, very simple. They are you simply, number one, you're only going to play claiming races. Number 2, the horse must have won one of his last 2 races. So horse must have won one of his last 2 races. And the horse must have won 3 of his last 9 races. 4th rule, the horse must have been in the money in 5 of his last 9 races. And the horse must be coming back in 12 days or less. Again, these are the only rules. Now, again, you're not going to get a lot of plays, especially on the major circuits, because very few horses come back in 12 days or less. But actually, it's pretty common, fairly common, not like it was in the old days, but it's fairly common on the smaller tracks. So again, these rules are pretty strict rules, and you can see what you're dealing with, though, is a super, super consistent horse. And in this particular method, we found about 42% winners on average. In the exacta, this horse ran first or second 65% of the time when you came up with a horse like that. So if you're playing exactas, you never ever want to leave this horse out of the exacta. Also, they make for great singles and pick threes or pick fours. So again, very simple rules, very effective, not a lot of action. But if you want to make money over the long run, the two methods we've just talked about will do that for you. Again, you're not going to get a lot of action, but when they come up, just play them. Don't think about it, just play them. Thanks. Talk to you next time.